In this module, we'll be looking at the characteristics of what makes a lady. Now, I'm sure we can all agree that clothes or makeup do not make a lady. That there is much more to just style and outward appearance to what distinguishes a woman from a lady. When we look at this quote, which says being female is a matter of birth, being woman is a matter of age, but being a lady is a matter of choice, it tells us so much about the attitude that is needed in a woman, which actually does designate her as a lady. A lady decides through her bearing, through the way she relates with the world, to the world, to be a lady. And she actually follows that attention through. So it's very important to understand that it is a process. It is something that we work on as women every day, but we are conscious about it. And we take a positive and cheerful attitude in order to treat the world and the people as a lady. So now let's really drill into the practical tips and tools so you've got them and you can actually work on you embodying the spirit of a lady. When we look at a woman that's a lady, we notice her presence. And it is from everything, from the way she holds her body, her bearing, to the way she dresses. We notice her femininity. We notice her confidence. We notice classiness. We notice a woman that's making refined choices. We notice a woman that's bold. Now, she is also confident in her way of communication. So this is what you're looking for in terms of presence. She's also polished, which means that she's well groomed, and then she invests into her grooming. So anything from her hair being neat to her surroundings being tidy as well. She knows her etiquette. She knows the rules. She puts the needs of others first. She's gracious, kind, thoughtful. She also understands that learning etiquette and manners is a constant job, because she will always meet people from different walks of life, and she'll be curious about learning about their culture and learning about their etiquette. She is a professional in everything that she does, meaning if she makes a promise, she will strive to keep that promise. You know, there is that famous saying that says, a lady always keeps her word. It's true. Her trustworthiness means a lot to her. But she is a person of substance. She strives to live a life that means something. She doesn't sit in the back and just observe life. She gets involved in life, and she makes sure that she's a part of the solution rather than a problem. And she's a woman of passion. And you will notice that ladies, no matter what's going on in their life, they will always have this positive outlook on life, and they will be encouraging of people, and you will always feel that you mean something to them in their presence, that you and what you are speaking of and talking about is being heard. So she's an intelligent woman. She's a lifelong learner. She's independent, you know, not leaning too much onto a man. She earns her keep, and she's strong and diligent. And she knows her strengths and weaknesses, and certainly does not compare herself to others, but works on self-improvement. Nowadays, grooming, due to constant demands on women's time, can be something that falls out of her everyday practice, but it has to be in. It is a daily activity that a lady devotes her time to. She knows that it is a part of self-investment. And she knows that if she pays attention to herself, she will be able to pay attention to others. We know that very famous saying, which is, you can never give from an empty cup. So good hygiene goes without saying. Neat and clean hair, clean nails. And we cover the basics of personal grooming in one of our training modules as well. Now, she dresses elegantly. She doesn't have to wear super expensive clothes, but her clothes fit. They're well chosen. She knows what works for her, what doesn't work for her. She, through her clothes, expresses her personality and style. She chooses the type of clothing which enhance her attributes and actually correct perhaps certain areas that she knows that she lacks in. And she dresses modestly, which means that not too much flesh is on the show. And in terms of modesty, that it's not just in terms of her dress, it's also in terms of her behavior. Her makeup is classy, so it's not too loud and it's not too understated. And mostly she wears neutral, soft tones. And it goes without saying, when it comes to her posture, she works on it. Posture is one of those things, as we've already mentioned in our body language module, is something that you have to work on. You know, you do not wake up in the morning with good posture. It requires constant practice and development. Now, a lady also is a woman of passion, and she speaks out her mind. She knows what's appropriate and what's appropriate to a certain occasion. She also works on perfecting her etiquette and is constantly learning, because she knows that she might be constantly meeting people outside her social circle or economic circle. She is usually well traveled. It's an effort to understand different cultures and understand their etiquette and manners. She is well spoken, which means that she will make sure she invests in her communication skills. So not only will she be well read, well spoken, but she will make sure that she practices her speech as well. And she actually listens more than she speaks. She's a good listener. She's an all-inclusive individual, and she allows people to be who they are, and she wouldn't judge them too harshly, or if ever. She uses refined language, which means that in her communication, she endeavors not to offend people, to speak in such a way that shows to people that she is thinking of their feelings and that their feelings matter to her. And of course, she's considerate and makes people comfortable. So, you know, a lady will always make sure that people, if they visit her home, they're received with hospitality. So, as we like to say, a lady is a class act. As I said, a lady will be a lifelong learner, will show intelligence, independence, will be showing compassion for others, and she's self-assured, so she would not go and compare herself to others. She's very well aware of her strengths and weaknesses, and instead of pointing blame at others and comparing herself with others, she works on those independently. She is diligent, she works hard, she shows her passion by being involved in charity work. She also manages her home and the needs of her family. So when we said that a lady is well groomed, this also extends to her home. She makes sure that she is neat in her appearance. Well, she also makes sure that her home is neat as well. Now, a lady would never embarrass her man or her friends. Indeed, she would never do something that would draw attention to them. For example, getting drunk in public, or perhaps gossip or badmouth her husband or her man behind her back. She will show natural affection to animals and children, regardless of if she has them herself. And she knows that reputation takes years to build and only seconds to destroy. So she cares for her reputation, which means that she does not engage in gossiping. In fact, the rule is that she always speaks about other people as though they were present right in front of her in the room, and whatever she feels she cannot say about others, she basically doesn't say those things. So now it is important in today's age of social media, and we are aware that we are putting more and more of our visual and digital content out there, that the lady is also well presented when it comes to her online content. So again, when it comes to her appearance, it's not about sexing up her clothes. She knows that her beauty comes from the inside. It's all about glowing from the inside, and she knows that being elegant in her dress and manner is what will make her stand out, not the clothes that she wears in terms of them being too revealing. Now, she would not upload provocative pictures on social media. She knows that would ruin her reputation instantly. And she wouldn't speak carelessly in terms of swearing or using slang words or using language that's not refined. And she certainly never chases men. There is a wonderful comparison that I always like to use when I think about what makes a lady in terms of female-male relationships. If you've got a beautiful flower, that beautiful rose or a flower never chases after a bee. A bee always comes to a flower. So I guess that would also be one of the mindsets of a lady. Further research and inspiration, one could always look to the films made in the 50s, 60s era. Really observe how those women were treated by men and vice versa, how they treated men. I guess a lady allows a man to be a man. A lady allows the man to pull a chair for her, to open the door for her, and just to treat her as a woman without having that feeling of being patronized or without being made to feel that she's weaker in any attempt. Men do like to treat women as ladies, and I personally think that a woman should allow a man to treat her as such.